Life and death also have mathematics, but it's individual, depending on the role in the drama. Death means switching off, and suffering can be a part of the process to change, to bring change. Lo and behold, the external is not 100% cut off. Otherwise, when the person keeps long, like you say 2 weeks, 1 month, the body will begin to.
The first question is, people have near-death experiences. Are there any lessons from it, or does it have any connections to their growth, as in growth on this journey? Like symbolism of near-death experiences. Yeah, there's significance in it.
Yeah.
That's the first question.
Yes. In connection with near-death experiences, near death, let's understand something. Near death doesn't mean death. Near something doesn't mean the thing itself. That means you haven't reached. See, there is inner decision and outer decision. Inner decision is a decision from spirit, and one's lifespan is actually decided the moment you enter this platform, this world. Everything is set. Just like we have this babies, there is some mathematics on them. 9 months is going to be born. So life and death also have mathematics, but it's individual, depending on the role in the drama. And sometimes the experience we call near death is part of the drama to bring transformation in that person who goes through the near-death experience. Because most of the time they don't remain the same after the experience. Some have dramatic turns in their lives. Things they put values on, sometimes they change. And things they thought is valueless, now they take it serious. So it can be a turning point, and it helps. So it has a purpose in affecting the person's life. But it is already known in the inner decision that at that time, the person will go through that experience for a purpose of adjusting something in the drama of that person's life. But it's not real death, because death means switching off, and completing the switching off. Even when we sleep, there is switching off, but it's just a few things we have switched off, and the remaining things go on, and we call it sleeping, dreaming. But near death, you switch off more things, but it's not 100%. Otherwise, it won't be called near death. It will be called death. You see? So the switching off happens with certain faculties, and always a thread of connection is left behind. And because of that thread of connection, one returns. And therefore, the experiences that one went through is not exactly what the experience is when it is 100% switched off. People think, oh, they had full death. But If it is full death, it is never meant to be back. Going to be back, there is a thread of connection, and it is so narrow, so subtle, because it was decided by the time one was taking birth that at that particular time that thing has to happen for a certain reason. So everything that happens, we have remote cause and immediate cause. So the immediate cause, they may say, oh, some accident, he had this, that happened, and he went off and he died. But there is a remote cause which is coming from the inner decision that came when the soul entered the womb. Everything was known that at that particular time that thing will happen as part of the drama design. Therefore, it's not total death. Yes, no matter how it happens, like coma and all that, if it is full decision, inner decision, that complete death, there's no turning back. But always there is a thread of connection when the inner decision has it that he still has some roles to play he hasn't completed. You can't come to play roles if it wasn't decided from the beginning. This is something people don't know. So that is something in short I would say about this.
Doc.
Yeah.
You mentioned people getting transformations from near-death experiences. And would I be wrong to say it's similar to the gradual experiences that spirituality gives you when you transcend the physical to the internal? So would you say that the transformations between the two are similar, or there's a difference between those two occurrences?
Yeah. We have some similarities, and
Doug, so
okay. So I'll still have to
no, you don't have to, you have to continue.
Yes, there are some similarities as one takes the transformation processes. He gets to some point, we can say he has achieved some transformation. But then when there is something like near-death experience, then within a short time the person is taken through this change, so this transformation. And I mentioned about remote cause. Remote cause means that there is a reason to actually give that rapid change to that person at that particular time. And another person will have to be approaching transformation in a gradual way. For certain persons, it is overdue because the period he had to pass through transformation, he might be having a role to play, and it has been making it almost like impossible at that particular time to develop the self. For example, sometimes one has so much determination, yet there is some karmic pattern he's passing through, or he has some dependence, certain souls brought in, and he has to ensure they are grounded, they are helping education and other things, and it's like shifting of attention from his own self-development, and then it gets to a point now he deserves to have rapid transformation. And transformation can go on in so many different ways. Sometimes one is given a teacher as a way to speed up. There are people by themselves, they are searching for knowledge, they are doing all kind of things to move forward, and sometimes they meet a teacher to speed up. Then there are those who are confronted with challenges, and because of the challenges, the nature of the challenges, they see the only solution is to let go of many things and instantly shift. They are compelled to let go of things and shift into another state of consciousness. So even suffering can be a part of the process to change, to bring change. See, when people do things, it doesn't go their way. When things get too tough, there is a saying that if the tough things won't move, then one has to be tough to make it move. So such is it. Yes. When it has to be instant for that person, and he has to go through all these things, and it's like withdraw. You see, look at it this way. Your spirit is functioning with this equipment. Look at it as equipment, but you absorb in it to let it function, but the absorption is so much that it gets you confused, because the identity, the form of this equipment is taken to be you, and that is a confusion. So if you have to transform, it also means you are now withdrawing out of the equipment and still keep some energy in the equipment for it to function. So it becomes like a remote control. You are yourself out of the equipment, and yet you have some energy in it to let it function. That is a self-transformation. You come to that stage, you are no more confused, because you pulled your head out of it in a way. But some have to do it gradually, pulling, and some too, something has to happen and pull them out of it, and then they come back to their senses that, oh, so from that day, they see that, yes, so I'm alive even when I'm not absorbing the body. But that can happen in a very short time, actually. Teachers are there to speed up that kind of thing, so that one pulls away gradually, but steadily, with encouragement, inspiration from the teacher to do it, to complete that. But sometimes the teacher becomes the experience of near death. The near death becomes the teacher, and it helps the person quickly to transform. See, so it brings one to the same thing, actually. Yeah.
Okay, so the third question is, there are so many instances where people go unconscious. Someone can go unconscious for maybe a day, sometimes it takes like 5 years and then 10 years. And at that very moment, what goes on in the mind and then the body of the person unconscious? And secondly, some people also, like when they have the near-death experience, they believe that what they see, like they see hell, they feel hell, they actually engulfed with fear when they come out, or when they become conscious again. They become very terrified, and then they start preaching to people, repent, that is coming. A whole lot of things, start going on in their minds. And some people to see heavenly stuff, they feel at peace, they become very calm. So when they have those experiences, they change instantly. What is the importance or the reason why they go through the whole thing?
Good. You see, we have the external and the internal. So, when, for example, we sleep, we are actually backing off into the internal. When we do certain practices that calms it down, then when it slows the mind down, the mind's absorption in the body consciousness is diminished. And then it is picked in the inner layers, the internal state. The internal state is also having layers. That means it's just like the way you see colors merging into each other, like the rainbow colors merging into each other, or sounds, sometimes from the lower sound to some other frequency. You say, like you say do, re, mi, fa, sol, la. You see that it's something that is entering into another. It goes. You see. So we have these things going on when we are switching off externally. The inner side is picking. So the internal side gives us experiences, and it is part. The internal is part of the material. The external is the physical, but the internal is subtle. You see, they are finer layers, and when you are actually entering into coma or the near-death experience, then it's rapid shutting off of the external and shifting into the internal. But lo and behold, the external is not 100% cut off. Otherwise, when the person keeps long, like you say 2 weeks, 1 month, you see, when it is total cutting off, the body will begin to rot. You see, but the person is in coma, their body is somewhat cold, but not really, it's not decaying, you see. And that tells you there is a connection still with the body external, you see. That is why I said the near death is not totally death, as people sometimes think. But its purpose is actually let the person experience the internal side of things. These different layers, they are different vibrations, different frequencies, and you go closer and closer to spirit frequency, and it brings about a kind of remembrance. If I say remembrance, because your spirit is very high frequency and it has been caught in very low state frequencies, so it is taking you backwards towards your real self, and the experiences you have there, it's not totally back to yourself, but like a journey towards yourself, you see. So in that journey, the important thing is this, that anything other than your real self, which is spirit, has polarity, you see. So internal, external, they function in polarity. Therefore, inside there, you can have happy or pleasurable experiences, and you can have the opposite, unpleasant experiences. And it's like when we sleep, we can have nightmares, and we can also have very wonderful, very pleasant experiences in the dream state. But it is all part of the internal. When you pass all these, then there isn't anything frightening and all those things. They are just part of the internal realm. But it keeps the person awakened. See, even nightmares can let people awaken. Sometimes people awaken back to the physical platform when they are having terrible nightmares. When in the night he's asleep, but sometimes you see him shouting in the dream because he's passing through some nightmare. You see that person sometimes will get up because he was shipped back into the wakeful state because of that situation. So likewise, even nightmares can let people go beyond, because that state is in. If he returns, he will talk about terrible things. But those terrible things, they are part of the material world. Material world, external, internal, combined is material world. So if you are seeing internal things, it is still material world. This is something that people are not aware of. They call the internal realm spiritual, but that is not spiritual. You see, the hardware, software combined, external, internal combined, it is just one thing, and it's functioning and getting the drama going. So when people go to that state, they are still in the drama. It is not outside the drama. But when they come back, they think they went out of the drama, But it's just similar to when we sleep. See, we only shut down a few things or slow some things down in the external to allow us to experience more of the internal. Yeah. So complete realization takes us beyond external, internal, and that one is a different experience altogether, which is not common. Yeah. Yes.
You mentioned that the bodies of these people who have entered coma and experiencing near-death experiences gets preserved in some way because there is still a connection. So is it in any way related to some Tibetan masters who die, but then their body stays preserved for a long period of time? Is it the same type of connection, or is it entirely?
Great question. Certainly yes. I mentioned about inner decision. So the decision is carried with that soul, and it's for a purpose. For example, when he goes into that state and switching off everything, yet leaves just a very thin connection. So it keeps the body preserved because there is something inside it. In fact, even people sense it when they are in that presence, that body still not decaying and everything. So some people even worship there. When they go to see that thing, it's like something connecting, supernatural something. They can't understand it. How come? So it means that soul, wherever it is having a remote control on that body. Just a very thin connection. He did it for a purpose, and that purpose is to come to pass. And it includes even the inquiry and other things that other souls come to see, and they begin to question things. They are also seekers, and through that some are inspired to learn more. And there are, in fact, it helps some of the monks to increase their detachment. Some become fond of some of these masters who have gone, and yet they are able to keep their bodies preserved. And because of that, the younger monks, they are thinking when the spirit leaves, they still have some control, and that they can even keep their bodies alive like that. It means they are not actually dead, because if wherever he is, if he's still able to keep the body behind preserved, then it means there is something that is really above the ordinary people's minds or understanding. But it inspires. So the master may even do it for the sake of inspiring those other ones, that it's not like you leave and consciousness is vanished, is dissolved. No, it's not dissolved. Wherever he is still conscious, and can spread a little bit of that into the body, and by remote control keeps it on, you see. So that is it's interesting to note, and it is like that with this comatose situation, and one switches off, but some thread of connection, very, very subtle, is still going on. Yeah.
Can a person have needed experience multiple times? And if yes, why would someone have needed experience multiple times? Because most of the time when they do have it, they come back with a different purpose. It's like they've changed their mindset, everything changes. So if they've had one, why would they have to have, another one again?
Yeah. I already mentioned that even the one happening is based on remote cause. That means hidden cause that is connected with the inner decision of the spirit before entering the body. And that will necessitate the kind of experiences the soul will pass through till finally it cuts off. So if it is within that inner decision that he has to repeat that process, of course, when it has to happen that way, there is a reason. It's just like you upgrade an equipment, and then now the equipment can be utilized for a certain role that previously it wasn't. Now, as time goes on, you see some other role, and this one too, you need to upgrade the equipment again. Then you can now connect to do that. So that may happen due to inner decision that was made much earlier for that soul. Yeah.
Okay, so why do a lot of people have the same experience? For example, people would say they saw hell, and in the way they describe it, a lot of people have also had the same experience, and they attest to the same fact that that is exactly what they saw. So why would a lot of people have the same experience?
Yes.
Is there any connection to it?
Sure. Why? Because it's the same zone they enter. The external, internal. Now, the internal is not just your internal. The internal is expanded state. The external is actually narrowed down, and as you enter the internal, is expanded. because it's nearing, you are getting closer and closer to spirit experience, which is super expanded. You see, so that zone, all that is occurring right now anywhere in the world is reflected inside it, because it's an expanded consciousness. That's why we say subconscious, superconscious, very expanded presence. The consciousness that we use in the external is actually one-pointed consciousness. It narrows down to just one point, but it moves very fast, and it is trying to always find things to touch here and there. You know it when your mind is not stable at all. It's connecting and trying to get things together and so on. And but when you come to that state of consciousness expanded, there is no curiosity in it anymore because it's fully expanded. But within it, because it is expanded, it includes the experiences of the past and experiences of future, and also things happening in a distance and things happening in somebody's access. You see, somebody has access individually, access to that same zone. So a lot of things are possible for you. Even you can see things, you can be in touch of things of the past that happened, and things happening right now far away, and things that will yet happen. Now the point is this: as far as the external internal zones are concerned, they function on the principle of polarity. That means within the subconscious you are going to find things pleasant and things unpleasant, because we have these things we store inside it from the external. So including emotions, because one of the layers in the internal is what we call astral. You see, that layer is more of the emotional energy. So we have, of course, emotions have their positive side. You see, for example, if somebody feels hatred, then it can also feel love, which is the opposite. So somebody can be sad or in grief, then somebody or the same person, another situation, it feels happy. So these things are all inside the subconscious as well. So it's a zone you go into, and you have all this going on as possibilities, and they are the same for everyone. People access the same zone as you also access in the internal. That is why the experiences are having some similarities. But we must understand that is not spiritual, because the word spiritual means something connected with spirit. But this is mental, subconscious mind or superconscious mind. So it's the inner, is internal is just some mental zone, and it is very expanded beyond the physical. Yeah.
Okay, Doc. So are the things they see real? People who have the near-death experiences, are the things they see real because they mostly come back with strong feelings and emotions, and the way they say it as they've actually, experienced it. So are the things they see real?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, beloved brother, beloved. The point is this: when you cut off more from the external, then it makes all the consciousness you are carrying, which is spread on the conscious or the external side, they are all taken into the internal. So it has sharp focus, you see. So you can have real, so-called real experience, very vivid, very clear, because you have withdrawn all the awareness or consciousness that has spread from the internal into the external, you see. And now you pull it from the external and you take it to the internal. Clear. You see, when a person dreams or enters into that state we call dream, if there are many things in the body, like health challenges, or is eating so much or something whilst he goes to sleep, then digestion has to go on, so many things have to go on in the body, then withdrawal of the energy of awareness or consciousness is limited because it has to do some assignment in the body. So the person enters into the dream state and things are not clear. So he begins to have all these complex dreams and he has no control. Things are happening this way, that way. And sometimes he enters into the nightmare and he'll be in some state. But if the person goes to sleep with very little need for the consciousness to keep in the body, then there is more withdrawal. And then the dream state is very vivid, very real. I mean, it looks really real, you know. So it's all because there is almost complete cutting off from body consciousness. Now, the near-death experience is just cutting off, withdrawing, and it's just left with very tiny link. So, because of that, the force you are carrying with you into the internal is so much that it makes everything so vivid, as if it's so real to you, as never before. More real than when you sleep in the night and you are dreaming. Even in common situations where you dream, the withdrawal is not 100%, but certain dreams appear so real and people get up and they think the thing is so real, you know. So what to speak death experience where you have really cut off almost everything. That one, the internal will be very, very keen experience. So that is why they have this wonderful experience there. But still, it shouldn't be mistaken for spiritual, because spiritual means you've bypassed or you've gone beyond the external, internal. The external, internal is like a box you are in and you go beyond the box. It's like a prison you are in and you go beyond the prison. That is where you are now spiritual. So definitions are sometimes confused. You know, just shifting from physical to subtle or subconscious or these inner minds doesn't mean some spiritual experience. It's only subtle or psychic. That is what we use the word psychic for. Psychic experiences, they are different from the real spiritual. Yeah.
You mentioned once again about they getting transformed. Like most people who experience near-death experiences. So do you think they can get transformed within the direction of being more entangled in the external world? Because you once said that most of these people with near-death experiences, they have their own beliefs. So then the mind projects such images as per their beliefs. So if they have images of hell and heaven because that is how they've been conditioned,
Yeah.
and then they come out of this near-death experience transformed, do you think that transformation could eventually lead to like the spiritual type of transformation, even though they had their own belief systems?
Good. Good. So the whole drama, just as sometimes we have the drama on our tellies we are watching, or people are doing it on the platform we're watching, it is for entertainment and it is also for education. So whatever goes on in this experience, where people have to transform, they have to learn. And initially, the learning may bring about the excitement and trying to move forward in some directions. But ultimately, if it inspires you, then the indoctrination you have had becomes the channels through which you are going to go. And in the long run, because it is indoctrination, then your soul has to learn that it doesn't really get you to the self-realization yet. And that you need to let go, you need to expand beyond these limitations you set for yourself unknowingly. You see, so the drama is for education in that sense. So sometimes what people have been indoctrinated with, for example, if you're thinking of some hell somewhere and you keep it strongly like that, then the mind, the zone of the mind, the internal, is something like moving from solid to liquid. For example, you see, like you have ice block and you move from the ice block to the water, to the liquid as water. The same way you move from the external into the internal, because the ice block is definite forms, but when it comes to water as the other side of it, then it is not having definite forms. It keeps changing. So what you have indoctrinated yourself with, it will change to that. So the container you give to water, that is the container the water will take. So when you shift into the internal side, then whatever you have been indoctrinated with is what you are going to. You see, indoctrination is like containers you have made ahead of time. So when you enter into the internal, then your containers are giving you. So if somebody is, let's say, indoctrinated in the Christian side, when he leaves or he entered into near death, then he's going to see exactly the beliefs, things which have been believed, things which have been given to him to accept, and those things will now show, and it is like that. Then another person who is Muslim have been indoctrinated differently. He enters near-death experience and he can also see the things exactly as the indoctrination has told him or her, you see. And somebody in the Far East or somewhere else, he also, whatever indoctrinations he has had, then he begins to also experience those same things, you know. So the indoctrinations throughout the world have certain similarities. Therefore, it will bring about some similarities. But at the same time, we have differences in indoctrination, and that will show also when people are telling their experiences. you are going to also hear differences because of where they belong. You see, when people are talking, for example, about angels with their wings and so on, and you are indoctrinated that these are the beings that are between the human and God is somewhere and they abode, and that they come and go. Now, when you enter into such a state, then the very things you have accepted deeply, the things are going to mold into those things for you to see. In another place like let's say the Far East, they talk about demigods, and demigods are not having wings, but they are also between the human and God. The word demi means half. That means they are like half human, half God, in the sense that they manifest God's powers or God's attributes. So the same way in the West, you see angels as mediating between humans and God. They also have demigods. But when someone like that have been indoctrinated from childhood about these demigods, and that is all grounded in him or her, now he has near-death experience, and he will see this demigod, that demigod, and this and that and that and that. You see, so it is something one has to understand actually.
Do you think one could have a death experience without having to have passed through an unfortunate situation, like maybe an accident or an illness or a sickness?
You mean the near-death experience?
Like a death experience, like a transition.
Oh yes, I get your point. Yes, I get your question. Yes. You see, as you are releasing the grip of the external, internal, this equipment, you are releasing yourself as a spirit from it, then you become more powerful because you begin to really bring the attributes of spirit to bear, and you have more control, you see. So when you are absorbing it, you have less control. Things are just going on. But when you are backing off, then you are getting more control. And as you have more control, it also means you partake in the decisions as to how things should move. So one can decide sometimes on a higher level, maybe the masters or teachers or those who have gotten into realization state, they come into this world and they decide they are not going to live in that manner where maybe accident or sickness, they can bear upon how they live. That is why sometimes we have the ascended masters, if you have heard about that, you see. And it's a reality that certain souls don't necessarily have to go through accident or sickness because they partake in the decision of the living. Everything is set by that soul's own service included in the setting, because it's ultimately is God, is one with God, and at that level, the decision of God is the decision of that soul. In other words, there is transparency, so no blocking of the will or the plan. It is flowing. On the lower side, we try to change the way the things have been designed, and we suffer for it because it will still go the same way. But then on the higher side, the decision is something you see yourself as part of it, that you decided it. And that way, if the decision is to just leave the body in a certain way, some just even tell the followers, or they tell people, I'm going to leave, and they just sit or lie down and they are gone. And it's not that he was sick, it's not that there was an accident, no. You see, so there are cases like that.
Okay, so final words and advice for those who have had near-death experience and people who are curious to have the same experiences because of what they've heard about the whole experience thing. So final words and then advice.
Okay. Yeah, the near-death experience, you can look at it this way. When you have the prison, some people are kept in the cells in the prison itself. And there are those also who are released on, they move about in the prison yard, prison compound. They are free inside, but they are still limited because they are within the prison. So if somebody locked in the rooms is not given the chance to come into the open, the day he's released into the open, then it's like the near-death experience, because they release him into the prison yard, moves about, breathes fresh air, and feels wonderful. And then at some point they say, yeah, we did it temporary for you, get back into your room, get back into your room. Then they go lock you again, you know. But then, for the first time, this person, he had become used to the room there, but now he yearns to come out of the room. Outside the room, you see this, you see that, and there is freedom and that and this. And some too get out and they see terrible things and all that. So they can see somebody who has been brought into the prison being mistreated, or something is going on, and they feel all this. Anyway, so the advice is, even the near-death experience keeps you still within the bounds of the prison. It's only that you got a release from the cell in the prison into the prison compound. So all the things you are seeing, and it's good in the sense that it makes you aspire to not limit yourself to the cell there. Whatever you do, and then you get a clemency, they will plead for you, or they will cut your sentence and make you come out. So people are then, from that day, they had a death experience, the near-death experience. They become different, and they talk a lot about the internal realm things. Internal realm means the prison compound. You see, the prison yard, inside the wall. But it's not total liberation. It's just a little bit of breathing the fresh air, the right, a better atmosphere, freedom to move yourself about. And that kind of freedom is not common to those who are locked inside all their lives. So others will see this and they want to do the same. They want to also have that kind of experience. But actually the highest thing they should aim for is even beyond that. Because the so-called enlightenment, self-realization and all those things, it's just beyond the external, internal. That is what it is. So if you have near-death experience and it is not enlightenment, it is not self-realization, it's just a release from the external.